Hi everyone, the next sample you're going to be creating is another zipper sample, and it's called a lapped zipper. Most often you would see a lapped zipper on the back of a lady's skirt or down the back of a dress. And the way the zipper looks is it conceals the zipper with a fold of fabric, and you only see one row of stitching. Where you'll recall when we did the railroad zipper, you saw two rows of stitching. But we're going to start pretty much the same way as we did on the other sample by marking where we want to put that zipper and where the end is. So the same way we did the other zipper, you want to make sure that your zipper is going to be at the top of the edge of the fabric, because there's going to be a waistband in this area that will cover it up. And you want to look to see where is that zipper stop on the bottom of the zipper, which is right here. And I'm going to mark below that this part of the seam is a basted seam again, because we're going to be taking it out. But this is your permanent seam. So if this was a skirt, this part down here would continue on to the base of the skirt or the, the bottom of the dress. We're just going to work with the little 7-inch zipper again, because you're just making a sample. And so then what I want you to do is do that basted seam over an inch. Because the zipper is lapped, you're going to need a little bit more fabric than you would on a railroaded zipper. And it's usually recommended an inch. Now, when you start working with commercial patterns, they're going to have a 5/8 inch seam. So you have to anticipate ahead of time where you're going to put your zipper. And if you're going to need additional fabric, you add to the pattern. But we'll talk about that again later. So basted seam. So remember, when you're basting, you want to adjust your stitch length to maybe like number 4. You may even want to loosen the tension just a little bit to make that stitching easy to get out. And then from there down, you want to do a permanent stitch. So tighten your tension back up and shorten your stitch length to like 2.8 or 2.8 to 3, so that you have a good solid foundation in that seam. So go ahead and stitch this closed, but don't press it open. I'm going to show you how we are going to press it. It's going to be a little bit different. So here you can see I've left tails up at the top. There's no back stitching. You don't want to cut these off, because sometimes it works out that you're able to just pull the thread and it comes out. And then you can see that at the bottom of the zipper, I've again left some tails, but then below that, I've done my permanent stitching. So you can see that the stitch length is different in those two areas. And then we're going to press it, but don't press it open flat. I'm going to show you that this gets pressed in a different method. Now, to press the seam, instead of pressing it open, we're going to take the piece on the right-hand side, that seam allowance, we're going to flip the fabric that way. And here we're going to turn this under, and we're going to do it at about, less than 1/4 of an inch. The bigger you make this, the farther over your zipper is going to land, and then you won't have enough fabric. So you just want to sort of fold it somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. I always try to get really close, but you need to have enough so that the zipper winds up under the flap. And then you're just going to press that little fold so that it has a nice crisp edge. And we're going to attach our zipper at this point underneath that edge. So you're going to bring the edge close to the zipper. You don't want it touching the teeth, but you want it pretty close. And I'm going to pin that in position. So again, the zipper is close to the top, because you want it to close to this point when you add a waistband at the top. So I'm just going to pin it there. I'm going to pin it here. And down here. I think I'm a little crooked. There we go. And then we're going to try to sew a row of stitching right along this edge right here. So I'm going to make a little pencil mark so you can see that you want to be stitching it really close to the edge. If you want to follow along in your textbook, it's on pages 183 and 184. It's a pretty good diagram. The textbook doesn't tell you to baste anything together, but I like it basted so that I can assure that it's going to be really, really straight, especially for a beginner. It'd be a little harder for you to be really straight. Now, if you have a zipper foot, the zipper foot would travel along this edge right here, and your needle would be in this position. With this type of zipper foot that attaches by snapping, you can see that your foot would kind of ride along the edge of the zipper tape or where the coil is, and your needle would be here. For the sake of those that don't have a zipper foot, I am going to attempt to put this in with the regular foot on the sewing machine by adjusting my stitch width. To finish the zipper, you want to flip the zipper down, and you want to press it from this side. Make sure that, you know, the fabric isn't doing one of these things where it's in the wrong position. You want to push it away from the seam, and you want to press that open, and then we'll finish stitching the zipper. So I'm ready to sew the section that is not connected to the zipper. So just pay close attention that your zipper is attached to this piece of fabric over here. It is not attached to this piece over here. And we want to make sure that we look at where is the bottom of my zipper, and you can feel it with your finger, a little bump where that zipper head is. And so I'm just going to stick a little pin here to tell myself where that is, because now you're going to want to stitch from the seam, make a little corner, and then you're going to go up. And that's what's going to create the little pleated or lap section of fabric that will lay over top of the zipper. I have moved my needle to the right position because I'm going to be coming up the other side of the zipper from the bottom. And so I'm going to go below where that hard piece of metal is that's holding the bottom of the zipper together, because if you hit that with a needle, it's going to break the needle. It will shatter it. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to do the back stitch. Oops. Hang on, my needle's unthreaded. Thank goodness for an automatic needle threader, because I can thread my needle here real quick if I can see what I'm doing. There we go. Let's start here again. So take and do a couple of little stitches that are a back stitch. Try not to go off into this fabric over here. You want it to end at the seam. I'm going to take that pin out because I don't want to try to sew over it and break my needle. Now, depending on what stitch length you have, I can feel that my zipper's like right here. I want to go maybe one more stitch. And then I'm just going to come up straight to the very top of the zipper and hopefully have a pretty good even lap. Like I said, this is not normally the way you would do it. You would use a zipper foot, so this is a little more difficult. And I think when I get close to the zipper head, I'm going to stop. I'm going to leave my needle in the down position, and I'm going to open up the seam and unzip my zipper. It'll be a little bit easier. It's really hard to get around that zipper head. A little bit more. I'm going to unzip the zipper. Sometimes I have to push it with a tool to get it past. And there we are. We've gone past. So then what you want to do is you want to kind of hold this together and try to keep it from sliding over or making sort of a bump up here. If it happens, it's okay. Just do the best you can. I know we don't have all the right tools and the right presser feet, so just do the best you can. So now I'm finished. I'm going to cut it off. We'll go over here and we will open the zipper. I'm going to trim off the tail that's down here at the bottom of the zipper. It looks pretty straight on that side. Looks pretty good. And you can either grab your tails and pull it out, or you can use a seam ripper and just every so many stitches, just break them. And then you'll pull out all those threads because you want it to be neat and tidy looking. That's far enough. There we go. So pull all those threads. You may have to press your zipper again because you don't want to see the little holes that were in the fabric from the basting. And there you go. You have a zipper that unzips, zips back up. Looks pretty good. So here we go. See the top to the bottom? So this is called the lap zipper because this part laps over top of the zipper, and you'll see that you only have one row of stitching instead of the zipper in the center and the 2 rows of stitching that we saw on the railroaded zipper. So good luck with this zipper, and happy sewing.